All right, welcome back to another episode of the DGN Sports Show. Me, Garrett, Adam, as always. We're going to go over our picks from the weekend, which were not very good. I think everyone had a horrible weekend. I really don't want to do this. We debated on skipping it, but we feel like we had to bring everybody back to reality and let them know you can't win and be above 50% every single weekend you bet. It's going to happen. It was a rough weekend, fellas.
Yep.
You live by the sword, you die by it, but
So let's just hop into the first game here. Wake Forest, Clemson. It opened at 7.5, closed at 7.5. The over-under was 55. It ended up 45-51 Clemson. I did not see that coming. I did not think that Wake Forest was going to score that many points, but I mean, that was a fun game to watch. We watched it while we were at tailgate, and I got a little nervous towards the end, honestly.
I thought, truthfully, I thought Wake Forest had a pretty decent shot at winning that ball game. I've not seen anything from Clemson all year that's made me think they're a crazy top team, and they don't play anybody is the problem. Wake Forest has been able to put up points, and I knew the over was going to hit, and it was 7.5. So I was like, well, I'll take Wake Forest, but I thought Wake Forest was going to win that ball game, truthfully.
Yeah, I kept glancing over while we were out on Saturday and just being like, why is Wake Forest like keeping up with Clemson right now? And then
They
eventually
led
yeah,
a long time.
eventually got to see the fourth quarter and then eventually, I guess, overtime ending. I was like, phew. I mean, I'm not a Clemson fan or a Wake Forest fan, but that had me nervous as can be. It's a good game, though. I mean, that's about the only thing we can say about it.
Yeah, it was a good game. We all took over in that. Me and Garrett took Clemson, obviously. Adam took Wake Forest, so that might be the one to hang your hat on for the weekend, hitting both.
Yeah.
That's why we got it out of the way early. It's all downhill from here.
The next game was Georgia-Kent State. It started at 46 Georgia, ended at 45.5. The over-under was 62. Georgia wins 39-22. And I got to say this, because I still haven't paid Adam. Kent State had scored 3 points at some point. We were playing cornhole and tailgating for the UK game, and I said, I'll give you 2-1 odds. Kent State doesn't score another damn point in this game. And I swear to God, before we left the house, we left like 30 minutes later. It was 13-22 or 21, whatever it was. I was like, holy crap. Like, what is Georgia just having their down week? Like, what is it?
Kent State scored 12 more points than Georgia had given up all season long to 3 opponents.
Yeah.
Man, they're human. They are human.
They are.
Now, do I think that this matters at all? No. I don't think this matters. I think they could care less what the final score was. They knew they were going to win. I still think they're the best team in the nation. Yeah. Am I pissed that they didn't cover 46.5, or 45.5?
Yes.
Yeah, but truthfully, like, you get that many points, you should take it. You should take the points anyway.
Well, I mean, you thought the same thing we all thought. Georgia against an FCS school, there should be no problem them covering. So, are we going to say that Kirby Smart's boosters told him not to cover this game?
Listen, I'm not saying that it could be totally. Like somebody could have came to Kirby and been like, "Hey, Kirby, you know that $5 million that you want to use in recruiting for NIL next year? Well, I'm going to put this $5 million down on Kent State to cover, and if I win, I might make a contribution to the athletic fund. I don't know." Now, that is complete conjecture, has no basis in reality whatsoever, but tell me that doesn't make sense.
I have a more realistic take that's not completely, kind of out there. I think Georgia is so good that this is just a complete trap game where they come in thinking they're going to take care of business. And it still being a trap game, they still won by 2 scores. So Georgia's really that good.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it before. These FCS schools come in, they're like, this is our Super Bowl. We got to show what we got. And they played their asses off, which, congrats to Kent State for doing what no other FBS school has done. South Carolina, all these other schools. Oregon. They scored more than Oregon. Realistically.
Scored 19 more than Oregon.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
What constitutes this for a trap game to you?
Georgia's always rolling, right?
They just came off South Carolina. Who do they play next?
Yeah, but it wasn't like they had like a massive victory that everybody was pumped about.
Well,
it's not like the next, they play Auburn next. It's not like the next game's like, oh, we're looking forward to Auburn. Like, it's just, I understand that the opponent's garbage and they didn't really think much of it, but like when I think a trap game, I think like we just beat a crazy good team. We're high. We think we're great.
You beat a division opponent and you beat the brakes off of them. You're riding high off that. Thinking you just go in, and beat the world, and then you let Kent State put up 22 points.
I think I'm with Garrett on this. I think anytime you play a division opponent, and then you also play a opposite divisional opponent the next week, which they have to win both games because Georgia is expected to be in the national championship, obviously. Like it's always a trap game when your standards are held that high, to me. So I think Garrett's right on this.
Well, I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying that there's one way or another. It's just in my mind, a trap game like the Texas game against UTSA. Like when you look at it, that's what I think a trap game looks like. Now I know obviously I understand I'm talking about a team that was theoretically going into a trap game and won their game. And then this one, where I just think they just didn't really even look because they're playing like it's a bad team. But like, trap game makes me feel like they got the rug pulled out underneath them, and they didn't really do that. They just didn't even show up. Is the problem?
Yeah, no, they didn't at all.
I'm also saying it's still a trap game, but they're so good they can still win by 2 scores. And like you said, Georgia's still the best team in my mind. And I think they're going to take care of business pretty easily against Auburn. Did Kent State give them a scare? No. But they also put up more points than anybody else this season. And who would have guessed that? Like, Kent State plays Miami of Ohio next week, or I guess this coming Saturday, and they'll probably only score like 13 points. And you'll be like, well, how the hell did they put up 22 against Georgia,
Yeah. I'm going to say I think Kent State did give them a scare, and I bet Kirby has been all over their asses all week about them laying down and playing down to their opponents. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Lord, pray for Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn might get their shit stuffed in.
Whatever the line is, take the Bulldogs.
Take Georgia.
Yeah, I don't care what it is this time. It's going to be hitting. Texas A&M, Arkansas. This opened at 2 to A&M. It closed at 1.5. The over-under was 48. It looks like me and Garrett took A&M money line. I don't have anything wrote down for Griffith. I can't remember what he took.
A&M money line.
I took Arkansas money line.
We all took Arkansas money line.
No, sorry. Arkansas money line. I apologize. Did you take Arkansas money line too?
Yeah, I did.
It looks like Adam took under, Garrett took under, I took the over. So, dude, this was a good game. This was one of the first games. Well, this is my game that I had as a lock, and had it not been an overtime game, I still think it was a good lock, just for the fact that it had to go to overtime, and I really did think Arkansas was going to win the game. It was a great game to watch. But I'll let you all elaborate a little bit. I didn't hit anything in this. You two hit the under, but.
I mean, it's close. We're the spread was 1.5. Like, we're half a point away from at least hitting our spread bets. Yeah. So, it's close. It sucks we got beat, but we weren't, blatantly wrong.
No, this one was one of those. It was like it's right there. That's a 50-50 game, and that's why I took money line in it.
Yeah.
I do say if this game's played at Arkansas, it's probably the same game, but Arkansas being on top, I still think Arkansas is the better team. I mean, just one of them games.
They had to lead at halftime.
Yeah.
Same.
All right. Another game I really don't. Oh well, this one I really don't want to talk about. Kentucky, Northern Illinois. Kentucky was a 26. It moved up to 26.5. The over/under was 53. Now the over hit, but Kentucky did not cover. It was 31-23. I went to the game. Adam went to the game. Obviously, we had a good time in the stands. But it was. I don't know. It feels like this happens all the time. Every time we get a random opponent like this, like an FCF school, we always play down. Is that me or does everybody else see that? Like we always play down to our competition. Because we went to Florida and took care of business, but now it's like they're here and we're winning by 8 points.
I think the defense just played a bad game. Is really what happened. Like our offense scored 31 points. We've scored 31 points, 36 points, 26. Like that's on par for what we score on offense.
Yeah.
I think the defense just had a few lapses. I think we're gonna be okay. I think it was just I think the team was better than they thought. I thought that Northern Illinois was better than they thought they would be. I think our defense played worse than we thought we would play. Still came out with a W. I do think this is the first UK game that's hit an over.
Yeah, it is. I think so too.
And it only hit by 1 point, so we're not like off by saying the under when the under's been 3 for 4, and then this one cleared by 1 point. It just just another tough break on the boards.
Yeah,
I will say I'm really skeptical against picking UK to cover anything over 20 points, especially to a lower level team like this, because it's like I picked them to cover against who was it week 1 that we played? I picked them
Miami of Ohio.
Exactly, like picked them to cover that, and they didn't. I turn around next week, picked them to not cover it. I just never know what this team's going to do unless we play like a decent opponent that actually, it means something. I mean, as a UK fan, like we still got to win. Like that doesn't bother me as much. But can you cover a game against Northern Illinois? I mean, please. Yeah, like that's all I'm asking.
We should, but I don't know.
And I don't think Rocky Lombardi, that good quarterback from NIU, I don't think he played either. Then
no, their starting quarterback was out.
I mean, that really does bother me considering how many points they were able to score. Without him against Vandy, which was like 7.5, and then they come out and they're able to move the ball on us a little bit. I kind of agree with Adam. We're not going to be like that defensively every game. I think it's just kind of like a little shock to the system. So I'm not too concerned as a UK fan, but just cover it, please. Jesus.
Yeah, once for our sakes, not for the fans, just for our picks. Alabama Vandy opened at 41, closed at 41. The over/under was 58.5. Stayed the same. Alabama wins 55-3. I think we all seen that coming. I'm not going to say Alabama's a wagon because they've looked splotchy at times. But Alabama took care of business. They looked good against Vandy, which is not saying much.
Yeah. So another one that we missed by the over/under was 58.5. They scored 58. We all took the over. Like that's another one that's just bad luck. We lost by half a point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought Vandy would cover it. I did. I didn't. I thought that they would get at least a garbage time touchdown or something. Just something to get it a little closer. I didn't think Alabama would score 55 either. So that it doesn't like wow me, but okay, that's on me for putting too much stock in Vanderbilt. But the as far as the over under, man, that's just another like half point miss right there. It's just Vegas was right on it right there. They got their lines perfect.
Yep.
I'm setting Mike right off to the side for right now.
Yeah, me too. Me
I'm
too.
I'm not a Mike Wright believer, but I'm not a disbeliever. He's kind of in between right now. That's way too many points. At least score a touchdown and cover that. I know we took Bama, but if you're a Vandy fan, you're like, come on, yeah, at least let's get a touchdown in there because Alabama's not Alabama this year. I mean, they're not bad by any means, but you think with how good Vandy's offense has been, with starting this season, that at least score a few points, but.
Yeah,
That's neither here nor there. So, half a point. That's all it is.
it's it's not a bad thing when you lose a bet and you're losing it by half point. That means you were you're 50-50 on the line. Like you're taking one side or the other. It's not that big of a deal, even though this wasn't one of our locks and something we threw in our parlay, which we will talk about at the end of the podcast. But the next game was Ohio State, Wisconsin. Ohio was an 18-point favorite. It moved up to 19 before the game, and 57 over/under stayed. And Ohio State won 52-21, so they did cover. It looks like Garrett was the only one that hit anything in this game. He took Ohio State to cover. Me and Adam both took Wisconsin in the under, but Garrett also took the under. So I thought this would be a closer game. I thought it would be more drawn out. I thought the under would hit just because of Big Ten football. I thought Wisconsin would try to grind the clock, but it apparently did not go that way. Ohio State looked pretty solid.
Big brother whipping up on little brother.
Yeah, that's all that is.
It's just Wisconsin, Ohio State. That's just I feel confident that Ohio State's going to beat the brakes off them for the next 10 years at least. I just don't see Wisconsin being able to compete against Ohio State. With that said, I took the under because I thought this was going to be kind of not necessarily a slugfest, but Wisconsin likes to run the ball, at least burn some clock. Way too many points for this game. I never would have thought that they'd be able to score that much, especially Wisconsin. I mean, they scored 21. I know 14 of that was in the fourth quarter, but overs and unders, sometimes they mean everything and sometimes they don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Ohio State finally looked like the offense I thought they would have. Just looking at some, the prior games in the season for the two teams, Wisconsin looked like they'd held people to low point totals. I didn't see them giving up 52, which is why I took the under. And if you're not giving up, I thought they'd hold them to 35. And if you're holding somebody at 35, 19 points is a whole hell of a lot of points. So that's why I went with Wisconsin. But Ohio State came out and looked like a team we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season, and got me on both of them. So just the way she rolls sometimes.
Yeah, just the control the clock position. Like I thought, what Garrett said was great. Like I thought Wisconsin would just chew enough to where it would be a low scoring game, and like you said, like they might score 35, and then it'd be like a 35-7, 35-14 game. That's why we all took unders. I think we all expected that to happen. Tennessee, Florida started at 11 to Tennessee, closed at 10.5. The over-under was 62.5, which only hit by half point. 38-33. Florida.
71.
What?
I said that there were 71 points.
Oh, so the under hit. Yeah. 38-33.
Oh,
It was 71.
The over hit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
62.
Okay. My bad.
Yeah, you
Well,
said clear by 1 point.
it looks it looks wrong right here when I'm reading it in your spreadsheet, but that's my fault for reading that incorrectly. I said it's my fault for reading it incorrectly.
Oh,
Don't me, mother.
But it looks wrong, Adam.
How does it look wrong?
I just read it wrong. Damn it.
It doesn't look wrong then.
I know, I just read it wrong.
But don't put it on me.
Well, I didn't. You just started coming at me.
I'm sorry.
Audience, this is 3 defeated men. All right, that's all it is.
Pretty
All
much.
it
We're
is.
trying to
Just-
find any
When,
source of
when you show
victory.
your win percentages at the end of this, it's going to be
I'm
fairly
not
embarrassing.
committed to doing that yet. I'm
No,
not.
we'll show them, and we're probably not going to say anything. I'm just going to say, hey, see you later. See you tomorrow. Make another episode. But yeah, Florida wins 38-33. Great game. I don't think anyone. Let's see. We all took Florida to cover. Garrett was the only one that hit the over. Because I swear I thought this was going to be an under game. I thought defense would come into play at some point, but apparently it did not matter. But the Florida pick was a good pick. Garrett, take this one.
For how we did this past weekend, I'm very proud of being able to get both of these. This will be my acceptance speech as best pick of the week because there's not a lot to go off of. I was able to watch a little bit of this game.
Minus your Iowa pick. Go ahead. Sorry.
God. We'll get to it. I was able to watch a little bit of this game. I was kind of busy at the moment, but every time I kept checking, I was like, it's just points. It was a touchdown like every 5 minutes. Those are games that are at least fun, especially when you take the over. As a UK fan, I'm not really concerned about Tennessee because I don't think they can stop anything. I think they're going to be able to score 38 points on our defense? No. But I think we'll be able to score easily. That's one thing to hold on to for the future. But yeah, I mean, the closer this game was at the end kind of makes me feel better because I think we're a much better team than Florida. So that's one thing to look forward to, as Cats fans is giving Tennessee, a good beatdown, hopefully later in the season.
The only concern I have for that game is it being at Neyland, and we just don't play well at Neyland. That's the only thing that worries me. Everything you said is correct, but it just being at Tennessee in Knoxville, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Now, hang on now. Last time we went to Neyland, we beat them 34-10.
Last year? No.
Last time we went to Neyland, it was the year before last. It was Schlarman's last game. We had 3 picks, and 2 of them were pick sixes.
Hold on.
Elvin Joseph had a pick six.
Let me fact check you because I don't think that's true.
34-10, 2 pick sixes, and a third pick. Kelvin Joseph, Boss Man, had a pick six in the first half. Then we had Davis, not the linebacker that just went to the Washington Redskins.
Jamin
Davis. He had a pick six. Schlarman's last game.
Yeah, but previous to that, if you take away, 2 years ago.
No. That was at home.
No, that was at Neyland.
I don't. Let me look at this.
I'm not wrong.
I don't. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't remember us winning at Neyland.
How many years ago was that, Blackburn?
You said 2 years ago, right?
Okay, yeah, it was 2 years ago. Where did we play them last year?
Last year was at home, obviously. I know. I understand that. Smart ass.
I'm not being smart. I'm walking you through it. You said it's got to be.
I ain't that dumb, boy.
Oh, Lord. Well, to Blackburn's defense, talk about how well or how, I guess, bad we usually play there. If you take away that game, think about
Yeah,
like
it's
the
been like
past
4 years.
30 years,
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah,
Adam, I'm gonna put this up on my camera.
you can't
34-7. I was wrong by 3 points. Okay.
But it was
So
there.
you were
though.
correct. I
Okay.
don't know. I just have this
How many
in
picks?
memory that it just. I don't like him when we play at Neyland. It always scares me. That's why my mind just goes to we suck there. So I
That's also-
apologize. You were
That's
correct.
Tennessee in general, though. I feel like we always have one of our worst games of the season. No matter how good we are, especially the past couple of years, one of our worst games of the season has to be against Tennessee for whatever reason.
Maybe it's the Halloween curse. I don't know, because we always play them on Halloween weekend. But Adam, you are correct. I will not take that from you.
Oh, let me read this to you. 12 minutes, 47 seconds in second quarter. Kelvin Joseph, 41-yard interception return for a touchdown. 10 minutes, 33 seconds ago in the second quarter. Jamin Davis, 85-yard interception return for a touchdown.
Okay, you didn't have to gloat. I was going to tell you were right, but just go ahead.
How we're talking about Florida and Tennessee, but
Stop
yeah.
me.
So basically, Florida and Tennessee, I would have really liked to see Florida win the ball game. They hit our bet, but just as a Kentucky fan who hates Tennessee and would like to see Florida get a decent win other than Utah, which is kind of looking like a fluke, I wanted to see Florida win the ball game. Felt like they should have, but makes me feel good about the trip down to Neyland when Florida gets beat by 5 at Neyland Stadium where they should have won the ball game, and we beat Florida by 10 at home. Yeah. So makes me feel good going on down the road.
That was the point we were all trying to get to. We, had a little spat here, which is all friendly. We know that. All right, so that's it for our college picks for the week. We're going to move on to the NFL. First game of the week, I'm going to hand this off to Garrett as soon as I get done. Browns-Steelers. The Browns were a 5-point favorite. It closed at 4.5, and the over-under was 38.5 at closing, and the Browns win 29-17. Mr. Hammonds.
All right, so I wasn't able to watch this game. I'll be completely honest. I was, and if I didn't have service, I had a lot of stuff going on. I had a dude I work with who's a diehard Steelers fan, just like me, texting me, and I saw the score going in halftime, and I was like, "Oh, Matt Canada is finally scared that he's going to lose his job because the offense opened up. I mean, we were leading at halftime. George Pickens was getting some balls, and then I checked it about an hour later." And we were getting beat by 2 scores. And I kind of texted my buddy. I said, well, what happened? He said, well, Matt Canada. We went back to the same old stuff. That's the only thing I can say. Mitch, from what I could tell, going back to the highlights and, looking at stat lines, he didn't play that bad of a ball game. It's 100% our offensive scheme right now. Our offense coordinator needs to go. And let's be real. That last touchdown that Cleveland got at the end of the game made it look a lot worse than what it was. I mean,
it was a
close game. It's AFC North football. Am I sad about losing to the Browns? With Jacoby Brissett? Hell yeah, I am. But at the same time, I know what our issues are. I know they can be fixed, and I hope they are. I don't know. I'm still comfortable picking Pittsburgh in those close AFC North games because that's just the nature of that division. I mean, they're just going to punch each other around. I'm not completely done on the Steelers this season, but it's not looking good till we get rid of Matt Canada.
Yeah. So Adam was the only person who hit the over in this one. I watched this game intently because I thought that the Steelers were going to win. I took the Steelers in the under. But I'm not going to say, so I'm going to disagree with you. I don't think it was Matt Canada. Jacoby Brissett looked like a fucking man out there. Excuse my language. I know I say that every time, but Jacoby Brissett looked good. Amari Cooper looked good. And Njoku was catching pass after pass after pass against that amazing defense. Now, I'm not shitting on your defense, but that defense is supposed to be so awesome. Njoku was all over the field. Me and Adam were watching the game together, talking to each other the whole time. And he was like, oh, my God. Njoku's got another one. He got 3 or 4 in a row. He was screaming. I was like, what? And sadly, I just dropped him on my fantasy team, which sucked because I could have really used him this weekend. I don't necessarily think it was Matt Canada this weekend. I think it was more the Browns came to play and their offense looked legit, which I know it won't happen again. But I think the Browns just came out and played their best game offensively.
Well, if I could, come back with that, if your offense can't get off, or if your offense can't stay on the field, and you're going back-to-back 3-and-outs, and your defense is doing what they can, I mean, if they can't catch a breath, any defense, bend and don't break, I get it. But when you don't have time in between, sets to take a second, catch your breath before they're like, oh, we're punting the ball again. No defense is going to be able to stop any NFL caliber offense.
No, that definitely factors into it too. Like, I see what you're saying, but like the Browns look like, I'm not going to say they're a wagon. I will never say the Browns are a wagon in my entire life. I don't care. I will die at 98, and I will never say that. But they did look really good on Sunday. So
the last thing I'd say on it is our offense is atrocious right now, but yet we're still in these games. We're not getting blown out. We're just right there. And I think if we just get somebody to just, I don't know, hit Matt Canada over the head one time for it to click. Open it up a little bit. Maybe we're not, 1-2 right now, because we very well could have beat the Patriots. We lost that game by 3. Very well could have won this game. It's like, man, like, we're right there. And these stupid play calling, like, that really puts the whole team into a hole that they can't get out of.
Yep.
We can move on. I could spend hours on this shit, but
yeah, me both.
Give it a quick little 1-2 on it. Second game in a row, I've taken Steelers money line, and they've screwed me. So out of just a raw ass, I think I'm going to lay off the Steelers money line picks for a while. The only reason that I took the over in that is because 38.5 is low. If they just set what was the final? Okay, so take away the 6 points that were scored at the end, so it would have been 23-17. Is that it? Is that what it would have been?
Yeah, it would have been 23-17. Yep.
Okay, so 23-17. You tell me if you set that over under at 40, which is what it ended at, I would have taken the under. I just took the over because it was the low 38.5, dude. But geez, the Steelers are just killing me lately, man. I wanted to be a good football team, and I think they're close. But I will say that Jacoby Brissett looked comfortable, and he was throwing bullets.
Yes,
even though he had some series that he looked terrible, he was throwing darts. I think the Browns, right now Jacoby Brissett is playing better than had Baker stayed. What Baker would be doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So either way, I think the Browns are going to have. If they hadn't blown the shit out of that game to the Jets, they'd be sitting kind of nice right now. So. I don't know. Steelers have got me in a raw mood about them lately, but we'll see how it goes.
Adam, you messaged me after that game and said, the Steelers have, beat me for 2 straight weeks. I'm not going to pick them for a little while, and I completely agree with you. Don't pick the Pittsburgh Steelers. I love them. It's not working right now. It's just not.
I will say George Pickens had the finest catch I've seen in a football game.
Hey.
I was watching it live, and I went, oh, my God. And then they showed the replay, and I went, oh, my God.
Tell me why he hasn't been targeted more than 10 times this entire season.
Adam looked at me, and he said, that's like some Odell Beckham shit. As soon as they went to timeout, they showed the Odell Beckham catch in comparison to that, because it was the same catch. He just wasn't in the end zone. It was just on the sideline. But
rolling the ball, Matt.
Dude, he needs the ball more. I agree with you.
Trubisky needs out of there. It's Kenny Pickett time. Trubisky's terrible.
See,
we need to move on. Hours. I've got hours of content for this, so we need to go.
All right.
Jets, Bengals. Bengals were a 5-point favorite. Closed at 5, opened at 45.5, closed at 45. Bengals win 27-12. Offense finally looked good. I was happy about that. Still took a lot of sacks in this game, which I was not happy about. But still come out with a win. Covered the 5, but the over did not hit. So I'll let y'all talk about this for a second. Got to step in here.
I'll go first. Man, I picked the Jets because I thought Joe Flacco after the first few games he had would be better, but the Bengals finally came out and played like a team that they should have been. I'm not saying that they were great, and I'm not saying that the Jets are a great team either, but finally didn't get They finally didn't let the other team beat them by a last-second field goal. You know, they took the game into their own hands, and truthfully, they should score more points than that. The unders in NFL football this year are insane. I don't understand. There's been like 2 overs in all of the college games that all of the NFL games that we've covered this season, and it's just a defensive year. I don't know, man. That's also why your fantasy teams probably suck. If you're watching this and wonder why you can't get anybody to score points, it's because nobody is scoring points. So happy to see the Bengals get on the winning game, and I went over 2. So,
well, I will say, you picked the Jets to cover that, and in all reality, they should have. There was 2 dropped touchdowns by the Jets. This game should have been a lot closer than it was. Now, am I saying that the Bengals are bad because it's the Jets? No, I think the Jets are a pretty competent team, even without Zach Wilson. Joe Flacco has not looked that bad, honestly. And I mean, this game, I picked the Bengals to cover 5, but this game should have been a 3-point game. But I mean, I was waiting for a Joe Burrow game for him to finally come out. Not get sacked 7 times and he'd be able to throw it a little bit, and it finally happened, which was good for my pick. I'm not a Bengals believer by any means for the North. And I cannot wait for Thursday Night Football when they travel to Hard Rock and face. Well, it's
in Cincinnati, I think.
Yeah, but you got Big Tua coming to town, so if, we might pick that game tomorrow. But
we're definitely picking that game.
I believe Cincinnati's favored in that game
right now.
I will say this:
it shouldn't be much, but it should. I think Cincinnati is favored by like 1.5.
I have picked up Tua on most of my fantasy teams, and I will be moving him to my starting position over Russell Wilson on 2 of my teams. So I'm going to smash the over in that game, and I'm going to take the Dolphins.
Fins up.
Before anything else, I'm not even seeing the line. Oh, wait, no, the line was like -5 the Bengals.
Yeah, I saw 3.5 somewhere today.
Like Bengals. 2.5 to start, but I think it's moved.
I think it opened at like 5.
That is 100% insane to me.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah. There's no reason. But I mean, I think the Bengals. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Bengals have a decent record at home against the Dolphins. Now away, I don't think it's very good.
Just beat the Bills.
This is a different Dolphins.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I think that's why that. I think that's what's factoring into it, and I think that's why that is what it is, to be at 5.
Dolphins just beat the Bills.
If it was Dolphins -5, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Even it being.
I'm not saying you're wrong. No, because Dolphins -5 would make sense for me, but
hammer the over. Start the players you have on your fantasy team that is in this ballgame.
All right, let's go to this next game. Bucks Packers. Bucks were 2-point favorite. It moved to 1.5. Over under was at 41. It closed at 41.5, and ended at 14-12 to the Packs. I did not see that. I did not see that coming. I don't think anyone's seen that coming.
You ever seen those videos on YouTube with those when old men get in fist fights again and they can't hit and they're falling over and they get back up and they try to swing again and they just fall over and then it just ends up being everybody's laying on the ground? I feel like this was what that football game was. Tom Brady can't score points anymore, man. That kills me. I don't think it's entirely his fault. I think Green Bay's got a good defense. He was throwing to the mailman out there. There wasn't anybody in the receiving corps. But God, man, I cannot watch a 12-14 ball game and get excited about it.
No. Well, Scotty Miller did play, which we thought was going to be the pickup of the week in fantasy. But they just couldn't get the ball to anybody. It just did not look like a good football game. I did not enjoy watching it. I think I played video games half of that game because I was like, whatever. It's not fun to watch.
Just checking this. Yeah, so it was Russell Gage from the Buccaneers who was, I guess, pretty much the only receiver that got thrown to.
He didn't have that good of a game. He even had like 15 points. 15 points.
He had 12 receptions on 13 targets and 87 yards. So like a lot of,
Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. Yeah,
just a lot of short passes, but he did have a
yeah.
touchdown.
Guess
This
that depends on
this
if it's
game
PPR
sucked.
or half PPR.
Yeah. No, honestly, this game sucked. Now this game would be fun if Alan Lazard was playing, healthy Sammy Watkins. I guess an old Randall Cobb, but I mean with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Julio Jones. I mean if they're out there, I think this game's completely different. I think it's definitely more fun to watch. This was miserable. There's just nothing good about this game except the under.
No.
We did call the under.
Yep.
But it's another moneyline pick I got wrong. I'm like terrible at moneyline picks in the NFL. I think I'm like 1 for 8.
Yeah, we all took Bucks. You
gonna
two
start
took
fading
under. I
everything
took
I think.
over. So I mean, there's not much we can do. These, like, we will all bounce back. I know we will. But this is by far the worst week we've had so far, which took 4 weeks to get there. So I'm not too mad about it. Can't be in positive money at all times. But next game was Rams Cardinals. Rams were a 4-point favorite. It closed at 3.5. The over/under started at 50.5, but closed at 48. And I was very upset with my man Kyler Murray, who is my starting quarterback in fantasy football, because he had no passing touchdowns, no rushing touchdowns, and he didn't do shit. He did throw for like 280, I think, something like that. But just
I remember saying last week that this was my fun game, and I hammered the over. This game sucked.
No.
This game sucked.
There was a lot of bad games this weekend. A lot.
Yeah. We're about to get to one of the worst ones I think I watched this weekend.
I mean, putrid.
Putrid.
Disgusting.
Well, I mean, we all took Rams, but we all also took overs.
That game played out exactly like we thought it would. They just a third of the points were scored that we thought that were points should have been scored. Yeah. So we all did decently well. It just went at a third slower pace than what we thought. But the next game,
oh, I know. Let's go ahead and just knock it out. Broncos Niners. Niners were 1.5-point favorite. Closed at 1.5. Opened at 45 over under. Closed at 45. Broncos win 11-10. This was an extravagant matchup that I just never seen coming. But no, this game was hard. Really, really, really hard to watch, honestly. And we all took Niners. You two are the only two that took the under. So congrats on getting some points on me there for our end of the season points. But I don't know, man.
Are the Broncos the worst 2-1 team in the NFL right now?
Yes.
Oh my God, they're so bad. Russell Wilson is so bad.
So trash.
It's so bad.
But they still win, and it makes me so upset. I don't get it.
So he
completely
did he not do the same thing at Seattle? He made everyone believe, but then it never amounted to anything except for the couple times.
I mean,
he lit up the scoreboard down there though. Like that, he had a couple MVP, like legitimate MVP chances.
Well, 0 votes. He's never got an MVP vote.
Well, I know, but like I remember.
I see what you're saying.
He started the season hard.
He was in major consideration multiple times. So I'm with that.
Now he gets here and he can't. I don't know. Somebody told me that it's the offensive scheme. It's more under center. It's more play action. It's not a spread. He's just having a hard time, but man, I just ain't seeing it. I ain't seeing it at all. No. I got him and Cortland Sutton on like 2 teams, and I would get rid of them for anybody right now. Like I can't start Russell Wilson anymore.
You should have Jerry Jeudy, but Jeudy can't stay healthy right now. He keeps getting fucking hurt. Excuse me again, but like that man, when Judy's healthy, you've seen what he done in week 2. He had like 30-some points in fantasy, whatever. Had like 100 and some yards receiving. I think he had 2 touchdowns. Judy's going to be the man in Denver, but I just don't know if Russell's the guy to get him the ball. I'm with you.
I think I'm okay. So I do enjoy Nathaniel Hackett, their head coach. He's been around the league for a while. I think he's a good guy. I think there's a lot that he needs to learn before he's like a really good head coach. I hope this doesn't go to his head as being like kind of like we're 2-1, dude, your team sucks. Like, and this can't keep happening. Somebody's going to expose them really bad, and then we're all going to see like the Broncos are just not a good team. I don't plan on picking them anytime soon. The ugliest game this week by far, I think.
Yeah, it was. It probably was. Now this game. Go ahead.
If Trey Lance isn't hurt, I think they still lose that game. By the way.
Yeah, I agree with you. So the next game, Bills Dolphins. Bills were 5.5-point favorite. Closed at 6. Everybody thought that was pretty normal. 54 over under. Closed at 53. But the fucking Dolphins, 21-19. The Dolphins, are they just not? Are the Dolphins just like? Are they Titan killers? I mean, they seem to do this a lot. They've done it against Brady. Now they're doing it against the Bills. Like, is that what their memo is? Like, is their MO?
I think they're figuring it out, man, and I think they're going to be a good team this year. Like, legitimately. Like, I think they're going to be, by the middle of the season, they're going to be in the front, and they're going to be leading the pack.
They might be.
And, like, their defense is playing great, and their offense is doing great right now, and they're figuring it out to be even better down the road. Everybody just wants to shit on Tua, man, and I cannot point anything out that makes him a better quarterback than anybody else in the league. But the man just wins ball games, and he puts it right on the money. He did it at Alabama. The only game he looked lost in was when they got throttled by Clemson in the national championship game. But, like, he gets in there, and I don't know what it is, but it looks like his teams always find a way to be offensive, just powerhouses. And I'm telling you, I think the Dolphins are the real deal this year, man. Like they beat Lamar. I think the Ravens are going to go downhill a little bit because Lamar's really much just showing out to make money at this point. But they just beat the Bills, who looked like Titans, and they beat the Pats, which the Pats aren't that good either. But still, you beat Belichick. So, I mean, I think they're good, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they're real good.
I do too.
The Dolphins to me right now. I think for the AFC, what's crazy to me now, you brought up the Ravens. Everybody believes in the Ravens this year. Their defense is atrocious. Anybody can score on the Ravens.
Yep.
The one thing that I love about the Dolphins is obviously their offensive weapons. Dude, their defensive linemen, they get after it, completely after it. And I think that's what's allowing, them to be so successful right now. And also, Mike McDaniel's finally getting a shot as a head coach, and everybody's touting him as like he's actually like an offensive genius. That's what everybody who's coached with him has said. The two best teams in the AFC right now, and I think the two teams that are going to come out of the AFC somehow are in the same division.
Yeah.
How insane that! And it's not the Patriots, it's not the Chiefs, it's not the Chargers, not the Ravens. It's the freaking Dolphins and Bills. Like that. That's where we've come to. That's crazy to think about. I'm now a member of 2-on. I signed up after the Ravens game. Like I'm a full-fledged member. And dude, I 100%. We talked about it earlier. I think it's so disrespectful, the line that we're seeing right now for Thursday night. But the Dolphins, I don't think they're going to lose that many games this season. They're that freaking good.
No, I don't think they'll lose a lot either. That's why I'm worried about Thursday night, which I will be driving to.
You should be. You should be.
I'll be driving to Oxford, Mississippi, watching it on an iPad. Hopefully, we keep service the entire way. But I'm terrified. honestly.
I just
If it
want
was
to.
the
I just want to add
Steelers-
in.
Go ahead.
I saw a clip of Mike McDaniel's walking on the sideline in the Miami game when they played. I don't think it was the Bills. I think it was when they were playing the Ravens. But that man, look, there's no better person that looks like the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. This guy was walking
Yes.
around in an unbuttoned collar, button up, short sleeves. He looked like a coke dealer. I swear to God.
This
He
is the
had
same.
rose gold aviators on and slick back greased hair, and I was like, this man owns the city.
This is the same coach who 2 years ago, when asked about possible other coaching positions, he said he's not going to go anywhere where he can't have legalized marijuana. And I know Florida's not a marijuana-friendly state, but it's Miami, and nobody gives a shit. So the dude has got it. And Blackburn, your Bengals play them on Thursday. If it's my current Steelers playing them on Thursday night in prime time,
Taking
I'm
the
not even
Dolphins.
watching the game. I'm not watching the game.
I'll watch it just because I have a
Buddy.
7-hour car ride, and that'll kill about 3.5 of it. That's the only
Good.
reason I watch it.
I'll pray for y'all. I think it's going to be.
Well,
It'll be bad.
I'll probably be texting you the entire time I'm driving or riding in the car.
I'll just send you voice memos of me laughing my ass off when they're getting the shit.
You can't do that. I would never do that to you. That's dirty.
I don't care.
That's dirty. All right, last NFL game. Giants Cowboys. Giants were 2.5. It closed at 1 to the Giants. Over under was 39.5. Closed at 39. Cowboys win 23-16. And it looks like none of us hit anything on this one either. Surprise, surprise.
We pushed. We got a push. And
push.
this week, a push is a win.
Well, I'll take a push because that's not a loss, but it's not a win.
But we watched that game last night, man,
Yeah.
and it was a fairly good game. The one takeaway that I kind of found myself with after the game was I kind of really believe in Daniel Jones because he looked good. If he had an offensive line and receivers, because now he's lost Sterling Shepard, if he had weapons around him and a decent O-line, Daniel Jones, buddy. Danny Dimes can run the football. when he needs
Yes,
to.
he can run the football.
Dude, he's a beast. I just honestly feel like it's the people around him. I think he could go to any other team right now that has decent weapons, and he'd look really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, they still lost the game. He threw a pick at the end, but his receiver fell down. That really wasn't on him. I'm a believer in Danny Dimes. I still not fully sold on the Giants. I think they're an all right team, but give me more Daniel Jones. Get me Daniel Jones right now. I want him.
Well, like me and Griffith was talking about, the Giants are the least. They have to be the least hated team in the NFL.
Unless you're Pats fans.
But
yeah,
But I will say this. So I think that game I think the Cowboys should have won by a lot more than they did. CeeDee Lamb, until like the late third and fourth quarter, because I have him on my fantasy team, so I was watching him intently, did not catch a damn pass. He couldn't catch anything. Wide open touchdown, drop. He had a 40-year-old, like a 45-yard 50-50 ball. He didn't even make an attempt on. And then he jumped out of the way on something to get them the first down before he even had the ball in his hands because he was scared to get hit. Like, stop being a pussy, CeeDee Lamb. Sorry, I'm going to call you out on my podcast. But, like, you do something. Like, take a hit. Be a man. Like, you're playing professional football.
Then goes and makes a ridiculous one-handed grab for a touchdown.
Yes.
It's like, dude,
Yeah.
you should have done that all game. Y'all would have been killing them.
He could have done it all game. But Adam also said when he doesn't have a good, like, a B, he doesn't have Amari Cooper at his B receiver, right? Yeah. So, like, he's not going to be as open as often because there's no good B guy.
He's the point of the defense. He can't make room for himself.
Yeah, take it over, Adam, because I know you've got some thoughts on this one too.
Yeah, when CeeDee Lamb's the focal point of the receiving, he can't make room for himself. That's why you're seeing this Brown kid go off. That's why you're seeing Tony Pollard catch balls out of the backfield. And they're not a good offensive team right now. But also, boys, Cooper Rush is 3-0 as a starting quarterback for the Cowboys. Going all the way back last year.
Is he the new guy? Should be.
No.
You want me to be honest
I
with
say
you? What I would
I
do?
say give it to him.
Listen, you want me to tell you what I would do if I was a Cowboys? And they're gonna hate me if I say this. You keep Cooper Rush and you shop Dak and Zeke for as much money as you can get out of them.
Yes.
And then you go hunting. And then you go hunting. And you get whoever you want.
That's the smartest thing I've ever heard. But Cowboys
Zeke's
fans
gone
will
anyway.
Zeke's never say
anyway.
that. They would never say that. But that's
Zeke's gone anyway. So Dak's coming off injury after injury. He's on the way down. Even though if you might believe in him, he's on the way down. Right now, those two are, especially you could shop them to the same team, and somebody would take them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can stock up on draft picks. You can get some legitimate. Tony Pollard's fine. Keep Tony Pollard in the backfield. You can get your offensive line is going to be fine when Tyron Smith comes back. Get you some absolute studs on defense to help out Micah Parsons, and get you some receivers and roll the Cooper Rush, man. Tony Romo .2. But if I was him, that's what I'd do after this season because Cooper Rush is winning them ball games, and Zeke is too much money, and Dak. I think if Dak was healthy and would remain healthy, he'd be a good option. But it's just
no. I'm with you. If they did that, like Cowboys fans would lose their minds. But then when they seen the product that was on the field after that happened, I feel like they would be like, "Oh God, we should have done this forever ago." You know what I mean?
I mean, you shop Dak to maybe like a Panthers team or a Falcons team that doesn't really have a straight up quarterback they believe in right now.
Or the Saints.
You
take every first round pick they got for the next round.
And if you want to go draft a quarterback, you can. You want to draft another offensive weapon, you can. An O lineman, whatever. That I hated it when it coming out of your mouth, but now Dak's got to go. Now I'm on board. Dak's got to go.
Cooper Rush is winning ball games.
Yeah.
Now, listen, Zeke's not going to be higher than he is right now anymore. No. So Zeke's got to be gone anyway. But if Cooper Rush is winning your ball games as it is, shop Dak around and stock up on 15 first-round picks in the next 5 years. Get you a middle tier career guy receiver. Give him to the Saints or something. Get Mike Thomas or get Chris Olave or somebody. Somebody on the up and coming, and then just stock up on athletes. And I'm telling you, man, Cowboys want to win.
Hashtag Adam Griffith for the Cowboys manager position right now. Let's start on Twitter. This man has got the plan.
Hey, Cooper Rush 2-0. Cooper Rush 2-0. Just beat the Super Bowl contender last year.
3-0 now, right?
Yeah, but it's going back last year when he beat the Vikings.
Oh, okay.
So this year he's 2-0, but as a starting quarterback for the Cowboys, he's 3-0.
See, I'm telling you, hire this man right here, up in this corner. Hire him, Cowboys. He can run complexity. He can run complexity. He knows video games. He can run the manager's office, tell you what players to pick. He knows all of it.
Dak Prescott.
And I'll back him 100%.
Do the Falcons say no?
Why would I would just give him, obviously you need some draft picks. I mean, you need a backup, but I would give him.
I don't think you got my joke there, Blackburn.
No, I did. I did.
Let's think of a good team.
I mean, potentially the Vikings if they are just sick.
Yeah, but they're not gonna get. They love Kirk Cousins though. They love Kirk Cousins. They're not gonna bail on him.
That's disgusting.
I know it's disgusting.
That man is boring.
But you know as well as I do, they love that man, and they're not gonna bail on him.
Seahawks.
I'll tell you what.
The Saints. The Saints is the one.
Seahawks would be good. The Lions.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to go to the Lions.
Goff's playing good, man. Goff is playing good ball right now.
He is. Goff's playing good, but we all know how the Lions end up every year. Personally, as a quarterback, I would not want to be there.
They could very well be 3-0 right now. It's from the way they've lost their 2 games this season has been. I hate to say it. I love Dan Campbell, but it's been head coaching decisions. Going for it 6 times on Sunday on 4th down, and then you have an opportunity to take the lead in opponent territory, and you got like a 4th and 4, and you just decide to not take it and you punt. Like little things like that. The Lions are not a bad team. I don't think the Lions would be a prime spot for him because Jared Goff. I mean, look him up. He's doing pretty good.
He is.
Now Seahawks, I could see. Jameis looks horrible right now.
Jets.
Potentially, I think they give at least Zach Wilson another year.
Yeah, Zach Wilson's got at least one more. I think the Saints might be the best option.
They're wrong with Jameis, but
one game that we haven't talked about though. Trevor freaking Lawrence.
Dude.
Looking good, man.
Welcome to the NFL, man. Jesus, you look good.
It looks like he finally figured it out, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying Trey Lance ain't doing that if he's healthy.
I'm trying to think of another team that has a quarterback that isn't on par with Dak, and I can't think of
who's
any
right on top of my head. Who's at Washington right now?
Carson Wentz. But who's Washington got to get? Who's Washington other than draft picks? Who's Washington got that?
You know what I think?
Antonio Gibson.
Throw that man out.
They just paid Terry McLaurin, so he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Chase Young.
Antonio Gibson. That's about it. Chase Young. Yeah. I mean, yeah. You get Chase Young a bunch of draft picks. You get Chase Young on one side and Micah Parsons lined up on the other. I mean,
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Don't even say that. I hate the Cowboys. I don't want them to be that good, man.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are going to return to glory at some point.
You got DeMarcus Lawrence lined up there too, so.
Shut up. This is disgusting. I don't want to talk about this.
All right, well, let's talk real quick before we close this out. Let's talk about our parlay that we had, that we told everybody this is the one we would put money on. I took Arkansas money line, which ended in overtime. Garrett had the Iowa Rutgers under. And then Adam had 2. I think both of Adam's hit. So if you were to parlay both of Adam's, if you were to, there we go. Georgia under, Florida 10.5. If you were to take both of Adam's, they both would have hit. But the other 2 games, what do we miss by?
The Arkansas money line was 2 points, and the over/under on the Iowa game was 3 points. It was close. It was close.
Yeah.
It was close.
So
close pick.
It's still a good pick. We put $100 on it. We drove up to Indiana and went in Caesars, put in a ticket. But either way you look at it, like, that's Gambler's Row, man. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That was a good bet, regardless, because you missed both of them.
Sometimes you follow.
Yeah. But I mean, it was. I still think that was a smart bet by the both of us. By the 3 of us. Sorry. So we lost one.
I still believe in my Iowa unders, and I will continue to pick them.
Unless
Okay,
they're at
I'm
32
fine with
again.
that. But if we're doing a group parlay, let's not find the lowest over/under possible and then go under.
Did you say that was the lowest over like in in college history or some shit, like something?
No.
I was gonna say that.
He said, "I found the lowest over/under I've seen in a long time, and I'm taking the under." Which, in his defense, it was close. I mean, it was close, but
I would like double their entire offensive, points they've scored in one game.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
That happens. We will do another parlay probably. We're gonna record again tomorrow night because me and Adam are leaving town. We're going to the UK Ole Miss game this weekend. But if you like what you're seeing, like, subscribe, comment below. Let us know how we're doing. Like I always say, tell us anything you want, unless it's derogatory, and then I will tell you to get the out. But it's been another good week. Well, it's not been a good week on our picks, but another good week of shows. So we'll see you again tomorrow night. And safe bettings, friends.
Bet responsibly.
Absolutely.